If I could go back 30 years, I wouldn't tell my younger self to chase success, earn more money, or work harder. I've recently had another birthday in my 40s. As a way of celebration, I have been reflecting on the past 30 years of my life and what lessons I've learned and I would want to pass to my daughter, who is currently 8. And today I wanted to share these 12 lessons, which hopefully will help other people to live more fulfilling lives and make fewer mistakes along the way. Being a high achiever and a perfectionist hasn't really served me well. It has only stopped me from taking the steps that I needed to take. I always thought that I needed to have a plan so perfect that a possibility of failure would be completely eliminated. But in reality, failure is useful, failure is important. You learn so much from it. In fact, you learn more from failure than from successes. Just thinking about clarity is not enough, and therefore taking action is the most important thing. Every decision you make, every risk you take, you're learning something new. And it's that learning that makes the path clearer and that gives you clarity. So if you're finding yourself now feeling stuck, overanalyzing, overthinking, take the first step even before you're ready. Don't wait for the perfect moment because it will not come. The perfect moment is now. For years, I thought I'd need to be super informed and I've always been glued to the news, but I didn't realize just how much anxiety and overwhelm the news can bring. So this time last year, I stopped watching the news. And I believe that if the news is important, it will somehow find me. I don't deliberately go on the news websites, and it has made me feel lighter. You see, what you focus on, you're feeding that thing. And if you're focusing on negativity and anxiety, then you will have more of those things in your life. So there is really little point adding more negativity and angst to your life by reading and watching the news. It took me years to realize that manifestation is real and it's not just wishful thinking. The things you focus on, consciously or unconsciously, do show up. And I've had examples of that, both positive and negative, in my life. Really, be careful what you wish for it may come true. Years ago, I was very intentional about what I would like to have in my life. And I created a vision board where I put various things that I wanted to focus on. And in the end, they became reality. In fact, I manifested a relationship that I was ready for at the time. However, I also manifested accidentally some negative things as well, because the universe doesn't really distinguish between negative and positive. It's the focus and what you're wishing for that matters. Many years ago, when I was in a very unhappy job and I wished that something would happen to me so that I wouldn't have to go to work, I really imagined how I would have an accident and I would end up in hospital, and that would give me a few days of rest. Then one day, when I was a doctor on call and I was on my way to work for a night shift, I was driving on the motorway and I was listening to some music, and then suddenly I saw two eyes right in front of me, and then boom, a head-on collision with a deer. That little deer just jumped off from the middle reservation of a motorway and then somehow at 70 miles per hour ended up going right in front of my car. And that moment really changed everything for me. Luckily, I didn't have any serious injuries. My car did. My car was completely written off. But it truly taught me that what you're wishing for can come true. The universe listens. Make sure you're sending the right messages. For years, I was a people pleaser. I thought that if I say yes, then people will like me. But in reality, it was only leading to resentment, because every time I was saying yes to something, I was also saying no to something else. You see, setting up boundaries and being able to say no to people, it's not about shutting them out. It's more about creating the space for what truly matters to you. I've always imagined passion as this massive fire like blazing ball that you kind of just need to go and find. But passion isn't found, it is built. Passion is created. So instead of looking for passion, ask yourself, what energizes me? What makes you forget things because you're so much in the moment doing that thing that nothing else matters? What makes you forget to scroll on the phone? Make that your compass and follow it. I spent too much time over the years second-guessing my decisions, over-analyzing things, looking for external validation. But now I know that deep down I knew every time what was the right decision. I've recently read a book, Blink, by Malcolm Gladwell, and something clicked. In that book, Malcolm explains that our brains are constantly picking up and analyzing patterns, even without us realizing it. Then our brains use those patterns to help us make quick decisions. You know those quick gut feelings that we have sometimes, that we call intuition? They can be surprisingly accurate. And looking back, I now realize that that instinct, we can listen to it more and trust ourselves and our gut. So next time you're stuck in hesitation or you have a difficult decision to make, stop and look inwards, because you already know. Your body knows. Ask your body. It will give you all the answers you need. You are unique. You see, the odds of you existing exactly the way you are 1 in 4 trillion. How often do we diminish ourselves and our importance? How often have you heard somebody put their head through the door and say, "Hi, it's only me"? No, it's not only you. It's you. And you matter. You are making an impact every day. Don't put yourself down by what you're saying to yourself. There is enough of putting down out there already for all of us. Love yourself the way you are, because it all starts with self-love. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect others to love you? How can you expect the world to warm up to you? And when self-love is tricky, just remind yourself that you are 1 in 4 trillion. We always think that we have more time until we don't. In my video, What My Patients Taught Me About Life, I shared something that profoundly influenced me and changed my perspective forever. You never know how much time you have left. As a doctor, I saw people realize too late that they waited too long to truly live. Seeing patients with life-limiting conditions and getting serious diagnoses after years of success as directors, CEOs of companies. Back then, when I was a doctor, that really taught me a lesson. Not to wait for a life-threatening diagnosis to really start living. If you're ever stuck in life, ask yourself, what would I be doing if I only had a limited time on Earth? Because time is limited. Time is ticking. I went to medical school and I trained to be a doctor. Normally, this is a career for life. So it really felt like a failure when I decided to leave medicine. Any change is difficult and sometimes can feel like failure. But change, ironically, is the only constant in life. And we grow through change. When it comes to careers, it's a myth that you have to have a career for life. In fact, when I was a recruiter, if we saw somebody who was in the same job, in the same company for 20 years, we knew that the hiring managers of a new company wouldn't look at that positively. Careers evolve, and in 5 years' time, there will be new careers that we haven't even heard of today. So if you feel like changing your path, if you feel like changing direction, start making first steps towards that. It's okay to start over, regardless of age. The only failure is staying stuck in something that no longer serves you. My next lesson is about accepting yourself for who you are. And I've really struggled with this one, especially after 40, when I've noticed that my body started changing. And it's been really difficult to learn to accept it, that this is a new me. It is more difficult to shift weight. And my hair is graying. It is so easy to be put down by society and the society's expectations of how you should look like. But I'm choosing to love myself the way I am. Be kind to yourself. Say kind things to yourself. Don't take criticisms from those people you wouldn't take advice from. Learn to forgive yourself. It's hard. The guilt, the shame, especially if you're a parent, they're real. For years, I've been beating myself up for making bad decisions, especially money wasted on courses that I never took, on books that I didn't read, on mentorship programs that I didn't take part in. I've spent hours replaying in my head what I could have done with that money instead. But the thing is, regret doesn't change the past. It only steals your present. Own your mistakes, forgive yourself, let go and move forward. You are not defined by the decisions that you regret. Champion others. It doesn't cost anything but means everything. One of the most powerful things you can do is making a difference in other people's lives by lifting them up. Tell somebody they have a great idea. Tell somebody you see the potential in them and they will go far. Give a compliment to somebody. Maybe even a stranger, just comment on their nice scarf. Encourage somebody by reminding them how far they've come, even if they feel stuck right now. These small moments, they can really make a massive difference in somebody else's life. You see, most of us have doubts, and we wonder whether we are good enough. But sometimes it only takes one person to believe in us, to help us believe in ourselves. Be that person, because the world is already full of critics. The world needs more champions of others. If I could go back 30 years, I wouldn't tell my younger self to chase success, earn more money, or work harder. I tell myself to trust myself more, to stop waiting, to embrace change, to cherish time, and to love myself the way I am. Let me know which lesson resonated with you, and go live your life to the most today.